Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 370 part of explanation of my theory, according to my theory and my formulas. New general theory of attraction and repulsion of Arıdaşır, me. One. Only free electron motion forms consecutive waves are responsible for attraction and repulsion between all objects, and mass or electric force is property of electron motion forms wave. Okay. If you remember, here is two component mass formulas for each waves, n² wave number, n² wave number. Here, n², n² wave number square. Without wavelength, there is no mass. This is mass. This is mass. Okay. If you remember from my previous videos. And I remind you, consecutive waves. Think of an electron motion form as a ring-shaped, closed ring-shaped, spherical, intertwined, interacted, spherical ring-shaped waves. And first wave, tangential velocity is 1,884,000 km per second, 2 pi c. Second wave multiplied by 2, this tangential speed. Third multiplied by 3, this tangential speed. Okay, but each cycle occurs at the same time. Then, for each point, inversely proportional to energy, point energy, or point mass, or point force, inversely proportional to wave number. Don't forget, please. Now we assume that electron motion form here doesn't relocate. This is motion, cycling. But this electron motion form and its waves not relocate. Okay. Because if an electron motion form relocates for c direction component, this is the formula, remember. Tangential velocity component formula, now there is not this formula that I put for, you can see from my previous videos. Here. Snapshot, please. And then here, an electron motion form, it is at rest. Speed of light component and tangential velocity component point energies for the first cycle, and here 91.155 nanometer, remember. Here. And for each point, what will we think about forces? Okay. Here, from units, energy, force, this is kilogram meter per second square, kilometer per second square, must be meter, result lambda. Okay, and this is point force formula for each point. Okay, here tangential velocity component formula. This is HVG divided by n lambda square. This means distance square. Okay, distance square, inversely proportional. Don't forget that. Or my another formula here. Okay. This means for each cycle, point force decreases, inversely proportional wave number. And this is lambda multiplied by wave number square, means distance between 2 point square. Now, at first, according to me, this is attraction. This is meta sensation perception matter, MSPM. White. And these black drawings are only motion forms of, intrinsic motion forms of meta sensation perception matter. Now, here an electron, free electron, here a free electron. Each have point mass, point force, point energy, but in this condition there is no action at a distance. There is no interaction between the two masses. No action at a distance. Okay, but if a free electron motion form is free, it produces and propagates successive consecutive waves. When these two waves coincide together and opposite direction, two electrons, but they have opposite direction relatively, then okay, here cycle, then cycle, first cycle, upside, second cycle, third cycle, first cycle, second cycle, third cycle, and okay, here this cycle cofactor going on same direction. This cycle cofactor going on same direction. Okay, then unified a single sphere approximately, then they all electron motion form and each successive waves between successive waves adiabatic medium, and it must be in balance, equilibrium, okay, spherical and attraction. Why attraction? Because of this. And when they attracted, this attraction not because of action at a distance, because of this will be like this, more spherical it must be. for being in equilibrium, inner volume, okay. Then second, here and here, attraction, okay, like this, attracted, but because of being equilibrium, like two different soup bubbles unifying, first as cylindrical, then spherical. While being spherical, the distance between other waves will be shortened. Okay, and each cycle point forces will decrease. Okay, this is attraction principle that I put forward. There is no action at a distance force, there is no action at a distance mass, between masses. Okay, then repulse. If two free electron motion forms upside cycle like this, they will, for each cycle, when they coincide, will repel each other, then these electrons will be apart from each other at the rate of inversely proportional their distance. Okay, like this. Now, only free electron motion forms interaction, and that free electron motion forms interaction, attraction and repulsion. But here, for proton-bound electron motion to form, we must think also, one, only free electron motion forms consecutive waves are responsible for attraction and repulsion between all objects, and mass is a property of electron motion form wave. Without wavelength, there is no mass. 2. Absolute zero, this is important, indicates an environment in meta-sensation perception matter, an area. Okay. Absolute zero indicates an environment without free electron motion forms. And in this environment, there is no mass attraction, no gravitation, no light, no heat, no attractive or repulsive electric forces. But if there are proton-bound electrons, wait a moment please. But if there are proton-bound electrons, atoms, there are still energies, forces and masses of proton-bound electrons, and protons constituent electron-like parts. At their first cycle without producing and propagating consecutive light wave, at their highest energy level, in absolute zero, ground state energy. According to me, ground state energy is highest energy level. Therefore, in this environment, if there is no free electron motion forms and their waves, therefore in this environment, there are masses and forces without attraction or repulsion. In this environment without free electron motion forms and their consecutive waves, in spite of their masses, atoms, proton-bound electron motion forms, etc., apart from each other, don't attract each other. There is no field or action at a distance between them. Since the mass is a function of wavelength, unless consecutive successive waves from a free electron touches with proton-bound electron motion forms, then make joint motion entangle with them, unless there will be no interaction to cause attraction or repulsion. By the way, for all beings there are proton-bound electron motion forms and free electron motion forms. For instance, sun. The sun have free electron motion forms and proton-bound electron motion forms. Our bodies have free electron motion forms and proton-bound electron together. An interaction between them. Our bodies, the sun object, and other objects. Okay? If there are no free electron motion forms, there will be no attraction or repulsion. Any? No. Yes. There are no action at a distance in our universes, and mass waves or electric waves, electric forces waves, interact with their sources. While doing this, each of their waves, energies, and masses or forces decreases inversely proportional to squared wave number. This is the reason of inverse square law in physics. Okay, like this, inversely proportional. Remember 2 pi c, second for second, point energy inversely proportional, wave number squared. Yes, squared wave number. Mass attraction and electric charges, forces, interaction experiments cannot be performed in an environment without free electron motion forms.